Hello, Formula One fans. It's been a long time since I talked about a 164 F1 car, but I bought like three of these Kyoshos recently at a diecast show. So let's talk about this one first. This is a 1978 season Ferrari called the 312 T3, and this was introduced at the third race of that season. It's powered by a 3-liter flat 12-cylinder engine, which sounds really crazy, really. 12 cylinders for only 3 liters. And then that engine, I guess, was used since 1970, so a pretty old, outdated engine. And that's why this didn't win the championship. It came in second for the Constructors' Championship after Lotus, which had, I guess, a lot of ground effects and stuff like that. But this car has some different bodywork from its predecessor, with a flatter top, which you can definitely see. That top looks very flat. And that allowed better airflow to that rear wing you see there. Alright, so that's really all I learned. And bear in mind, it's Wikipedia, so questionable whether it's correct. Let's see here. So it's typical tampo printed graphics here, no decals that I can see. Some of the Kyosho F1 cars do have decals, but so far, well, no, I think they're all tampos. But they also always have exposed axles. I think they have to because very often they have these really spindly suspension setups, so you need to have a solid steel bar to go through that. But the wheels are nice. I mean, minus the axle ends. I mean, that is molded to look like the real car. And the rear is a different molding, it seems. Alright. I think this is probably a radiator outlet right here. Just looking at the images, it's just a black square. But I don't know. But then again, these must be radiator outlets as well. Maybe it's for radiators. I'm not sure. Please leave a comment if you know. It's such a weird looking F1 car. Like the whole 312 series, these arrowhead bodies, and then there's like they just pinned a little wing on the front end of it. But you can see the staggered slicks here, so that's pretty nice. There's actually a really tiny Ferrari badge here, and it doesn't look oversized to me. Looks pretty good. Where the watch company there. I don't know what these holes would be. Maybe access ports to the suspension. The driver's cockpit, we have a nice steering wheel with actual, air passing between the holes there. I mean, the steering arms, I guess you would call it. So it's definitely better than, like, say, Hot Wheels. I think all the Kyoshos, though, have just a die-cast windscreen. And in this case, it's just painted it black. And then there is some harness detail molded into that seat. And I guess this must be a headrest there. The roll bar looks like a separate plastic piece, painted silver. There's some paint rash for sure. Kyosho and the color red equals paint rash in most mathematical equations. I'm not sure what the deal is with those. No idea. Again, please leave a comment if you know. Okay, let's go to the back. I'm gonna have to assume these must be exhaust tips, and they're the 12 header pipes there. It's interesting that they would stick out this far. Okay, some suspension details here as part of the plastic base, 2 screws holding it together. So the whole base is plastic, and then, the red part is the die-cast metal. It's nice that, Kyosho writes what the car is, but unfortunately this one doesn't say what season it ran. A lot of the other Kyosho F1 cars do say what year it ran. Strange that they wouldn't write 1978 there. Alright, not sure what this thing is. Maybe just a cover for the differential or something, but there's one central strut holding this whole wing up here. It's such an angular wing. It's very strange, But this was 1978, before things were, curved and stuff like that. So this was probably just bent with like a sheet metal bender, and they did what they could. They weren't making molds back then, I don't think. Not for this wing, at least. Or there was probably a lot of running changes throughout the season, so they had to fix up wings quickly. Alright, I guess that's all I have to talk about. It's pretty cool looking, I think. Let's compare it to a couple other F1 cars from the Ferrari collection. Sadly, I don't have the Lotus that I mentioned that won that season. I'm sure Kyosho made it, but I haven't seen it come at a decent price. And frankly, I don't really love F1 that much. I don't watch it anymore. I just like to see the evolution of F1 cars. Okay, so going back in time, this is the 312T2 from Kyosho. All these I'm going to show are from Kyosho. And then going back further, the next closest one I have is called the 312B from 1970. See, this one actually says 1970 on it. So I don't know why Kyosho chose to not write the year. Now let's go forward in time. Sorry, I wasn't focus. So the 1979 season, we have the 312T4, an evolution, and it seems to be a larger vehicle. I'll get to the top view later. The last one I have is a 1984 126C4. Alright, so let me try to get these lined up. The rear wheels better. And I can't even tell if I have it all in frame. I'm using a photo booth, so I can't really see the top of my camera. There's a giant bright LED there. But I think hopefully you can see what's going on as far as the bodywork evolution and the three middle cars being from the 312T series. I can definitely see a family resemblance amongst all of them. I do think maybe this is the coolest one. It's so weird how the front end hangs over. It's an overhang, and I find that interesting. Okay. So let's spin one more time for you guys before we move this over to spin on its own. Put on the starting grid turntable today. Alright, well, another Kyosho Ferrari. I guess someday, if the price is right, I'm going to get every one of their castings, and there'll be a cool video on the evolution of all these things. I have two other ones that'll come later on, and hopefully you'll stick around to see those guys. Thanks for watching as always. See ya.